Every year, around 10 million metal drums are thrown away after being used in factories, storage, and transport. Most of them just sit in landfills, rusting and taking up space. Others get melted down, which uses a lot of energy. But what if these old drums could be turned into something useful instead? That's exactly what happens with this incredible recycling method. Instead of wasting these drums, people are transforming them into blackboards. Yes, the same kind of blackboards used in schools, offices, and homes. By cutting, reshaping, and coating them, these metal drums get a brand new purpose, one that helps students and saves the environment at the same time. This process is not just creative, it's a game changer. It reduces waste, saves resources, and even creates new job opportunities. Plus, it shows that with a little innovation, almost anything can be repurposed into something valuable. Metal drums are everywhere. They are used to store oil, chemicals, food products, and other materials. But once they're empty, they become a huge problem. Every year, millions of these drums are discarded, and most of them don't get recycled properly. One big issue is landfills. Metal drums take up a lot of space, and when they sit in landfills, they rust and break down. Over time, leftover chemicals or oil inside them can leak into the soil and water, causing serious pollution. This can harm plants, animals, and even people. Recycling seems like a good solution, but it's not always easy. Melting down metal drums to make new products uses a lot of energy and creates air pollution. Plus, some drums are coated with chemicals that make them hard to recycle. Because of this, many of them just sit in junkyards, taking up space and slowly falling apart. In some places, metal drums are illegally dumped. People throw them into rivers, forests, or abandoned lots to avoid paying for proper disposal. This makes the problem even worse, harming the environment and creating safety hazards. With all these challenges, it's clear that a better solution is needed. Instead of letting these drums go to waste, why not turn them into something useful? That's where this blackboard making process comes in. It's a smart way to reuse the metal without melting it down or letting it pollute the earth. And speaking of helping, I'm on a mission to grow this channel. If you like creative recycling ideas, hit that subscribe button. Just like these workers are transforming waste into something useful, you can help transform this channel with just one click. Turning old metal drums into blackboards is no simple task. It takes several steps to make sure they are safe, smooth, and ready to use. The process involves cleaning, cutting, reshaping, and coating the metal so it can be turned into a perfect writing surface. Before anything else, workers collect used metal drums from factories, junkyards, and recycling centers. These drums come in all conditions. Some are dented, others have rust, and many still have traces of the materials they once held. The first and most important step is cleaning. If a drum was used to store chemicals or oil, it needs to be completely scrubbed and rinsed to remove any leftover substances. This prevents harmful residues from sticking to the final blackboard surface. Workers use high-pressure water jets and industrial cleaners to wash the inside and outside of each drum. After that, the drums are left to dry completely, ensuring no moisture remains. This step is crucial because leftover chemicals or water can cause problems later in the process. Now that the drums are clean, it's time to cut them open and turn them into flat metal sheets. This part requires precision and the right tools. Workers start by removing the top and bottom of the drum using an electric saw or plasma cutter. Once both ends are gone, they make a single cut down the side of the drum, opening it up like a metal scroll. At this stage, the drum is still curved, so it needs to be flattened. The process looks pretty dangerous to me. What do you think about the conditions these workers have to deal with? Let me know in the comments. To straighten the metal, workers apply heat and pressure. Some use heavy rollers that press the metal into a flat sheet, while others hammer it down manually. The goal is to make the surface as smooth as possible so it can later be used as a proper writing board. After flattening, the edges of the metal sheet are still sharp and dangerous. So workers grind down the edges using sanders and metal files, making sure there are no rough or jagged parts that could cause injuries. At this point, the metal sheets start looking more like blackboards, but they're still missing the most important part, the writing surface. A blackboard isn't a blackboard without a smooth, dark surface that chalk can stick to. This final step is where the real magic happens. First, workers apply a base coat of primer. This helps the final blackboard coating stick properly and prevents rust from forming over time. Once the primer dries, it's time for the Blackboard paint, a special type of matte, non-reflective black paint that makes writing with chalk easy. The paint is applied in multiple layers. After each layer, the metal is left to dry completely before adding another coat. This ensures a thick, even surface that will last for years. Some manufacturers even add a protective sealant on top to make the Blackboard resistant to scratches and moisture. Finally, the Blackboard sheets are cut into different sizes and framed with wood or metal borders. This makes them easier to handle, safer to use, and gives them a polished, professional look. And just like that, an old, useless metal drum is now a brand new Blackboard, ready to be used in classrooms, offices, and homes. Pretty cool, right? But it gets even better. Turning metal drums into Blackboards doesn't just stop at making something useful, it actually helps the environment, the economy, and even education in big ways. First off, less waste. Millions of metal drums are thrown away every year, taking up space in landfills and rusting away. Repurposing them into Blackboards means fewer drums polluting the planet and less demand for brand new materials. Then there's energy savings. Normally, recycling metal means melting it down, which takes a ton of power and releases pollution. But this method skips all that. By reshaping the metal instead of melting it, carbon emissions are much lower. Plus, these Blackboards last a really long time. The special coating prevents rust and damage, which means schools and offices don't have to replace them often. Less waste, less energy, and a longer lifespan. It's a win-win for the environment. It's not just the planet that benefits. People do too. Every step of this process creates jobs, from collecting the drums to painting and selling the final Blackboards. This helps support workers and businesses, especially in areas where job opportunities are limited. And here's the best part: affordable education. Traditional Blackboards can be expensive, but these recycled versions are much cheaper. Schools that don't have big budgets can still get high-quality Blackboards, helping more kids get access to better learning tools. It's amazing how something as simple as an old metal drum can be completely transformed into something useful. Instead of letting millions of these drums pile up in landfills or waste energy melting them down, this method gives them a second life as Blackboards that help students, businesses, and communities. If you found this as insane and inspiring as I did, let me know in the comments. Would you use a Blackboard made from a recycled metal drum? Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Every bit of support helps. Just like every recycled drum makes a difference. Thanks for watching, and remember, one person's trash is another person's Blackboard.